In the last 20 years or so, the Discovery Channel has transformed from an educational network into a hub for reality programming, and sometimes things get a little too real. The high-stakes reality show Dual Survival followed a pair of experienced survival experts braving different harrowing situations. Stars including Cody London and Joe Tedeye would be unceremoniously dropped into wilderness scenarios that mimicked real-life or historical challenges. They'd replicate the experiences of lost, cold, and hungry sailors, hikers, or mountaineers. Viewers found that drama compelling and novel, and Discovery Channel aired 9 seasons from 2010 to 2016. In May 2016, London filed a lawsuit accusing the show of using misleadingly edited footage to cast him in a bad light. He claimed one sequence depicting London wasting much-needed matches by tossing them into the water was staged by producers. He said scenes like that one prevented him from getting further work.
They can run it, and they can face the consequences. It's that simple.
London also claimed that Tedeye, an ex-CIA agent, threatened him into behaving on camera and showed him pictures of people he claimed he'd killed during his spy days, implying he'd do the same to London. While filming in Norway, London says Tedeye said he submerged him in snow while holding an ice axe. In Hawaii, London said his co-star contemplated stabbing him with a spear. Tedeye denied all the accusations, and the Discovery Channel successfully beat London's claims in court. In 2006, Discovery Channel began airing Man vs. Wild, which would quickly become a star-making cultural phenomenon. UK-born Special Air Service parachuter and combat survival expert Bear Grylls would travel to some of the world's most extreme environments and use his elite skills to survive. Broadcast in 200 countries, Man vs. Wild was one of the most watched shows in Discovery Channel history until the show was canceled in 2012 after its 6th season. A spokesperson for the network told The Hollywood Reporter, "Due to a continuing contractual dispute with Bear Grylls, Discovery has terminated all current productions with him. The network reportedly wanted Grylls to be heavily involved in 2 other series, and he was contractually obligated to participate. Grylls objected to the terms of that agreement, and Discovery opted to let go of one of its biggest stars rather than negotiate a new contract." One Saturday morning in January 2020, Discovery Channel aired an hour-long program called Pet Tales with Greta, an interview show about animals. Its seeming educational nature almost felt like a throwback to the kind of thing that Discovery Channel broadcast years earlier. The problem with the special was that it didn't really seem like a Discovery Channel show. Its host and executive producer Greta Van Susteren is a former Fox News personality who left after network boss Roger Ailes faced numerous allegations of sexual misconduct and harassment. Curiously, former Fox News host Bill O'Reilly was one of the guests on Pet Tales, along with NFL legend Terry Bradshaw and singer Katharine McPhee. This, despite the fact that O'Reilly was fired from Fox after the New York Times discovered that the network paid $13 million to settle sexual harassment claims made against him. When viewers complained online about O'Reilly's appearance, Discovery Channel released a statement explaining that it took no responsibility for the content of Pet Tales with Greta, because it wasn't really a Discovery Channel production. The makers of the special bought the airtime, an arrangement generally reserved for infomercials.
What's her main issue?
Holly's issue is always the same: dinner.
Discovery Channel's hit reality series Deadliest Catch shows how dangerous it is to be a professional fisherman. That concept has made for a massive amount of programming. The flagship Deadliest Catch series has produced more than 340 episodes since 2005, and spin-offs including Deadliest Catch Bloodline, Deadliest Catch The Viking Returns, and Deadliest Catch Dungeon Cove have added another few dozen hours to the franchise. Deadliest Catch is a cash cow for Discovery Channel, so when contracted parties fail to deliver on producing more, Discovery will take matters into the courtroom. In 2010, 2 Deadliest Catch co-stars, brothers Jonathan and Andy Hillstrand, filmed for 2 weeks on a contracted spin-off special called Hillstranded. It was supposed to show the pair engaging in non-fishing activities in Alaska. They reportedly never turned in any footage to Discovery, and when producers tried to contact the Hillstrands to ask about the status of the show, they received an email from the Hillstrands' lawyer calling for all communications to cease. Discovery sued the brothers for $3 million in damages, estimating what they lost by not having the special to air. The Hillstrands briefly quit Deadliest Catch, but were permitted to return after the lawsuit was settled. Josh Harris was all over Deadliest Catch for a decade and a half. In addition to appearing on nearly 200 episodes as a captain of the Cornelia Marie and other fishing vessels, he co-starred in a slew of spin-offs like After the Catch, Deadliest Catch Bloodline, and Deadliest Catch The Bait, while also serving as a consultant to Discovery Channel producers. In 2022, the Discovery Channel quickly fired Harris. News of a series of ugly criminal events from 1998 surfaced. Harris was 15 or 16 years old when he was arrested and charged with multiple acts of sexual assault against the 4-year-old daughter of a neighbor. DNA evidence linked Harris to the crimes, and he arranged a plea deal. He served 9 months and agreed to a psychological exam for assault and immoral communication with a minor. Nick Mavar was a deckhand on Deadliest Catch. He appeared on the very first episode of the reality show in 2005 and continued to pop up through episodes that aired through 2021. He stopped working on the show after suffering a near-fatal medical emergency during filming. Mayvar worked on board the FB Northwestern, where during a 2020 expedition, his appendix ruptured. He had multiple serious and long-standing infections, surgeries, and underwent treatment for cancer because his appendix contained a cancerous tumor.
I'm afraid to go out to sea without him, quite frankly. I didn't think this day would ever come.
He blamed inadequate medical care for his appendix issue. He filed a lawsuit in Washington state against FB Northwestern owners Hansen Enterprises in December 2022, seeking $1 million. In May 2023, Hansen Enterprises then sued Deadliest Catch producers Original Productions and medical provider Trifecta Solutions, saying that they are the ones who should pay a settlement to Mayvar, along with the legal fees incurred defending themselves against the deckhand's suit. In 2009, the Discovery Channel's affiliate network in Singapore aired a commercial for a tourism program called Enigmatic Malaysia. The ad, produced by the Discovery Channel on behalf of the Malaysian government, included lots of images meant to represent the Asian nation, including some pendet dancers. This implied that pendet is historically and culturally Malaysian art, but it isn't. The dance is part of the cultural traditions of Bali, which is part of Indonesia, not Malaysia. Protests broke out in Bali over the Malaysian government's cultural appropriation. A Bali government counselor told the Jakarta Post, "They are trying to claim the pendet, which is a sacred and original dance from Bali, as their own." The Discovery Channel sent a letter of apology to both the tourism bureaus of Malaysia and Indonesia for mixing up the origins of the dance. There are tons of reality shows about people trying to survive in the wild, but only one show goes all the way, denying participants modern conveniences and also their clothes. That's Discovery Channel's Naked and Afraid. Despite a bunch of unclothed, fit people hanging around together in the middle of nowhere, Naked and Afraid is hardly titillating. These people are indeed terrified, be it of wild animals, starvation, exposure, or freezing to death. They're too busy hunting for shelter and modesty-providing leaves to really work on their budding relationships. The nudity is also censored. 1 Million Moms, an organization with a stated goal of fighting indecency in the media, encouraged its members and supporters to boycott Naked and Afraid upon its 2013 debut. The group also demanded that Discovery Channel cancel the show because they believed it to be filthy. 1 Million Moms said in a statement, "Discovery should be ashamed to air nudity and then call it entertainment." Discovery never responded to the boycott, nor has it canceled Naked and Afraid as of the making of this video. Discovery, the parent company of the Discovery Channel, finalized its purchase of Warner Media from AT&T in May 2021. It wasn't a quick, easy, or cheap merger. In fact, it cost $43 billion. Discovery announced that it would install its CEO David Zaslav as the head of the new firm, the renamed Warner Brothers Discovery. In late 2021, 30 members of Congress sent a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland and Justice Department antitrust lead Jonathan Kanter stating reservations over the merger. The letter read in part, "The merger threatens to enhance the market power of the combined firm and substantially lessen competition in the media and entertainment industry, harming both consumers and American workers." In February 2022, the merger got approval from both the DOJ and the company's shareholders. Warner Brothers Discovery quickly went on a cost-cutting spree, laying off thousands of employees, ending multiple TV series, and shelving already completed movies. In April 2023, 4 members of Congress once again asked Garland and the Justice Department to take another look at the deal because of the detrimental effects of placing HBO and the Discovery Channel, among other entities, into one company. The reality series Sons of Guns followed the day-to-day business at Red Jacket, a family-owned weapons shop in Louisiana run by William Hayden. The show was abruptly canceled after police in Baton Rouge arrested Hayden on charges of sexual assault against a minor. A second victim testified that Hayden had assaulted her in the early 1990s, and Hayden's daughter also accused him of the same crime. In 2017, Hayden, once one of the biggest stars on the Discovery Channel, was found guilty of forcible and aggravated rape. He was sentenced to 3 simultaneous life sentences and an additional 40 years. Just after Hayden's arrest, Chris Ford, another member of the cast, was also charged with cruelty to juveniles. His wife, Hayden's daughter Stephanie Hayden Ford, was also charged with being a principal to cruelty to juveniles. William Scott, who fathered a child with Stephanie, accused Chris of hitting that child, then 9 years old, with a belt so savagely that it left substantial bruising. Chris was arrested again in 2020 for domestic battery after videos emerged showing him pushing and choking a woman while threatening to kill her. If you or someone you know is dealing with domestic abuse, child abuse, or sexual assault, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You can also find more information, resources, and support at their website.